The Joe Rogan Experience.
You're aware of Elon Musk's Neuralink technology?
Yeah.
How much do you know about it?
I know a decent amount, and my friend Brian Johnson, he has a company, Kernel. There's a few different companies that are trying to think about these brain-machine interfaces.
And what are they trying to do?
Basically, what they're trying to do is to find a way to connect our brains to our machines. And there's a little bit of progress. And our brains they're incredibly complicated and they're messy. I mean, there's a lot that's happening. But we are increasingly figuring out how to connect our brains to our technology. And so people are imagining a time when we can do things like download memories, download ideas, or upload memories and upload ideas. And there's some very early science that is suggesting that this will be possible, but it's still the very early days.
The very early days. But Elon was giving the impression that sometime this year they're going to release something.
You know, they may release something, but it's not going to be something that's going to change the world, because that technology is way more nascent than even the genetics technology that I've been talking about. So it's not like that that it's at all remotely possible that this year you're going to be able to like upload a full memory or download a full memory. But there are little things that are happening, but every journey begins with a step.
But the technology is fairly transparent in terms of like where the state of the art is right now?
It is, in that it's extremely early. This stuff is so when you think of like about systems that we understand. I mentioned that we understand just a little bit about genomics. We know less about the brain. The brain is kind of the great unknown of this universe. We know more about the oceans than we know about our brain. I mean, it's just we know very, very little. We understand that if you kind of stick an electric current in somebody's brain, like that's going to, if you kind of shoot a spike through somebody's head, but really understanding how the brain functions, we're still in the very, very early days.
So do you think that Kurzweil's off with this idea that you're going to be able to download your consciousness into a computer? Because that's one of the most controversial ideas that he's come up with, right?
So I think he's off based on your use of the word "your." So I mentioned that a month ago I was in Kyoto, and I was at this stem cell lab. But I also went to another lab of a guy named Hiroshi Ishiguro, who's the world's leading humanoid roboticist. And so he's the guy who was on the cover of Wired, and he's created these robot avatars. And like I had a conversation with this robot woman, Erica. And it was really interesting because I could see that like if I would smile, she'd smile and lean forward. And if I had like a over-exaggerated sad face, she'd like change her expression. And she can have like basic conversations.
Wow.
But we're still a long way. And so from having full robotics, but I had this full robotic human interactions, but I had this debate with Ishiguro. And he was saying that he thought that the future of humanity was non-biological, that we were going to kind of unload ourselves to these non-biological entities, and that is how we would gain our immortality. And I argued something very different. I feel like we are biological beings. I think we'll fully integrate with our technology, but if we ever become entirely non-biological, then that's not us. Either we will have committed suicide as a species, or these robots that will have killed us. Because even if, let's just say that I could download my entire consciousness to some kind of robot, and let's just say that was possible, that robot would be me for that first exact moment when the transfer happened. But then beyond that, it wouldn't be me anymore, because there would be a whole other set of experience. But certainly our interaction, our connectivity with this tech is going to be greater. And so even if Kurzweil isn't exactly right, he's directionally right.
Yeah, the problem would be that you would be locked in. Like, if they downloaded your consciousness into some sort of a bank of computers somewhere, where are you? If that's your consciousness is in these ones and zeros.
Yeah.
And that's terrifying. What's terrifying is if somebody didn't like you and they said, I'm going to make one version of you suffer for all eternity. And then I'm going to just download you while you sleep.
It's true. But I have something worse than that.
Okay.
Death. And so I think that nobody is going to say, well, I'm going to be Joe living a life, or I'm going to like not be Joe and I'll just have my consciousness downloaded someplace else. And so if the comparison is, well, I've lived this life and I don't want to die, and so I'd rather kind of be here in some kind of version, and even if it's not me, just something.
Really?
I think some people will want that. Not everybody.
I think some people will, but they don't know what they're getting, right?
Yes.
In terms of you don't know what that experience is going to be like, nor do you know if there is some sort of a chemical gateway that happens in the mind when you do expire and allows you to pass through to the other dimension that your consciousness and your soul longs to travel to. But no,
I hope you're right about that.
I'm definitely not right.
I've written about this in my novel. It's like, but I think kind of when you're dead, you're just dead. And the good news for you is
though?
Well, just because I think that this kind of immortality comes because time stops. Time is this relative concept, and so at the moment that you die, that's immortality for you because time stops flowing for you. That's what Einstein taught us. Time is this relative concept. Other people, very legitimately, and there's no way to prove it, feel that we have this soul and this soul can travel to other dimensions. I happen to believe that we are biological beings and our experience of the soul, whatever, is connected to our biology. When our biology stops functioning, those experiences, whatever they are, stop being accessible, at least to us.